When suspicion casts a shadow over your relationship, your instinct often screams one demand: a direct answer. It is a natural impulse for men to ask, "Did you betray me?" But let us be honest, this question is too easy to escape. For a modern woman managing complex emotional landscapes, direct accusation often triggers immediate defensive walls. You are not inviting truth, you are giving her an off-ramp for denial or minimization. She gets to define the truth for you. We need to shift our philosophy entirely, adopting a more stoic approach, much like the insights we explore at Psyche Depth. Stoicism teaches us that truth is not found in forced admissions. It is revealed in behavior, hesitation, and emotion under pressure. Our goal here is not an interrogation. Instead, we must learn to ask reflective, responsibility-based questions that compel self-examination. In essence, you are not chasing an answer. You are letting her actions paint the picture. You are the observer of truth, not its prosecutor. When doubt clouds your mind and you must navigate the fog, the initial challenge is to gauge the true landscape of her attitude. This is where we apply the first strategic question, focused squarely on personal responsibility. Instead of demanding to know about an action, we inquire asking, "Do you feel happy with your recent choices?" We are shifting the focus from a specific event to something much deeper, specifically her character and her conscience. For a modern woman who values integrity, this question acts as a deep internal mirror. You are not asking for a timeline of last Saturday night. You are prompting a deeper assessment of her alignment with her own moral compass. Her reaction is the map you must read, and the signs are quite telling. Someone unburdened by secrets will offer a calm, relaxed demeanor. She might express confusion or ask for clarification, perhaps saying she does not quite understand, but her posture remains easy and her voice steady, free from defensive strain. However, a woman grappling with guilt often reacts very differently. Watch for the sudden silence, the telling hesitation, or a subtle but recognizable shift in her vocal tone. She might become unusually irritable, almost taking offense at the vagueness of the question. This reaction does not necessarily mean she is guilty of everything, but it is a strong signal that her recent choices are currently at war with her self-image. You have not forced a lie, you have simply revealed an internal conflict she can no longer effectively hide. When you move beyond mere observation and need to challenge a specific behavior, you enter the phase of questioning concealment itself. This is where we deploy a critical question. Why did you feel you needed to hide that from me? Here, we are intentionally changing the battlefield. You must not get trapped in an argument about whether a certain action occurred or not. That is a losing strategy. Instead, you must isolate the act of deception. The logic here is powerful. While a mistake might be explained, the deliberate intention to conceal is far more difficult to justify. For a woman navigating modern relationships, her reaction to this question is extremely telling. If there is nothing seriously wrong, the explanation is usually straightforward and logical. It might be a minor misunderstanding, a forgotten detail, or simply a case of she did not think it was important. Her delivery will be easy and direct because she is not constructing a defense. However, if she is hiding significant secrets, this question creates an immediate and visible struggle. You will observe her grappling with a paradox. She will desperately try to maintain a cohesive, logical story while simultaneously avoiding any admission of guilt. This often leads to visible discomfort. She might grow increasingly defensive, subtly or directly try to change the subject, or create increasingly complicated excuses. It is in this struggle to align her fabricated narrative with reality that you will find the answers you are seeking. When we move into the third phase, we enter the realm of strategic uncertainty. This is a psychological masterstroke designed to shift the burden of proof from you to her. The question is simple yet heavy. Is there anything you want to tell me before I find out in another way? By phrasing it this way, you are not making a direct accusation that she can easily swat away. Instead, you are creating a vacuum of information that her own conscience and anxiety will rush to fill. The primary goal here is to make her wonder exactly how much you already know. In the complex psychology of a modern relationship, a person keeping a secret is constantly managing a mental map of their lies. When you introduce the possibility that you have outside information, that map starts to crumble. The pressure of potential exposure forces her mind to calculate the risks of remaining silent versus the benefits of a partial confession. You must be a silent observer during this stage. Watch for the long, heavy pauses where she is clearly weighing her options. You might see a sudden shift in her physical posture, crossing her arms, avoiding eye contact, or perhaps a restless fidgeting. The most telling sign of guilt is when she begins to offer up small, unsolicited details, tiny admissions or breadcrumbs of truth, in an attempt to get ahead of whatever she thinks you might discover. This trickle of information is a clear indicator that the dam is breaking. In this silence, the truth does not need to be hunted. It simply begins to leak out through the cracks of her own uncertainty. In this fourth stage, we move away from the mechanics of the secret and toward the core of the relationship's moral foundation. We call this the mirror phase. The question is a profound appeal to fairness. How would you honestly feel if I were the one doing the exact same thing? This is not a hypothetical game. It is a psychological confrontation designed to strip away the justifications she has built in her mind. Often, when someone is hiding something, they rationalize it through their own perspective, focusing on their needs or their unique circumstances. By forcing a role reversal, you shatter that internal narrative. You are placing a mirror in front of her soul, demanding she look at the impact of her actions rather than just her intentions. For a modern woman who values equality and mutual respect, this question hits a very sensitive nerve. It forces her to acknowledge the objective weight of her behavior. If she is innocent or has nothing to hide, she might answer with a shrug or a simple statement that she would trust you, or she might even be confused by the gravity of the question. However, the red flag is a visceral reaction of hypocrisy. If she becomes visibly uncomfortable or admits she would find your behavior unacceptable, she is silently confessing. This reaction is a tacit admission that her own actions have crossed a sacred boundary. If she cannot accept from you what she has already done herself, the double standard is exposed, and the truth of her betrayal is no longer a secret. It is a reflected reality she can no longer ignore. As we reach the end of this psychological journey, we must return to our core foundation, the profound power of a calm mind. In the world of modern relationships, where emotions often run high and shadows of doubt can be overwhelming, adopting a stoic perspective is your greatest asset. The truth, as we have explored, is rarely found in a simple verbal confession. Words can be crafted, polished, and manipulated, but human behavior under pressure is far more honest. A calm, steady mind, one that refuses to be shaken by anger or desperation, acts like a clear lens, allowing you to see through the fog of deception. You must remember that you do not need to chase the answer. When you stop acting as an aggressive prosecutor and instead become a focused, silent observer, you create a space where the truth has no choice but to reveal itself. The most significant signals are never the words spoken, but the spaces between them. Watch for those heavy, unnatural pauses where the mind is frantically searching for a safe path. Notice the sudden, sharp defensiveness that arises when a nerve is touched, or the visible struggle as she tries to keep a fabricated story aligned with the cold reality of facts. Instead of being the accuser, embrace the role of the witness. Understand that a person's uncontrollable reactions, the micro-expressions, the shifts in tone, the subtle avoidance, are far more truthful than any prepared statement. By remaining centered and observant, you regain your power. You are no longer a victim of uncertainty, but a person of clarity. The truth will always emerge, not because you forced it, but because the human spirit cannot indefinitely sustain the weight of a lie in the presence of a calm, unwavering gaze.